Ever felt overwhelmed by complex decisions or struggled to see through life's challenges? The audiobook, Think Sharp, Developing Critical Thinking Habits, is your guide to developing the habits needed for razor-sharp critical thinking skills. Discover how to observe keenly, question deeply, and decide confidently. Master these habits, and you'll navigate life's complexities with ease, make better choices, and unlock your full potential. Don't let clouded thinking hold you back. Sharpen your mind. Your clearer, more decisive future starts here. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: Mindset Shift. The human mind is a remarkable instrument, capable of extraordinary feats of reasoning, creativity, and problem-solving. Yet, for many of us, our thinking patterns often fall short of their true potential. We find ourselves trapped in rigid thought processes, struggling to adapt to new challenges, or faltering in the face of complex problems. But what if there was a way to unlock the full power of your mind? What if you could cultivate a mindset that not only embraces challenges, but thrives on them? This is where the journey of critical thinking begins. Not with a set of rules or techniques, but with a fundamental shift in how we perceive our own cognitive abilities. Welcome to the first step in your transformation towards sharper, more effective thinking. The concept of a growth mindset, pioneered by psychologist Carol Dweck, lies at the heart of this transformation. It's a simple yet profound idea: the belief that our abilities, including our capacity for critical thinking, are not fixed traits, but skills that can be developed and refined through effort and practice. This stands in stark contrast to a fixed mindset, which assumes our intellectual capabilities are innate and unchangeable. Adopting a growth mindset is like opening a door to a world of possibilities. It allows us to approach challenges not as threats to our perceived intelligence, but as opportunities for growth and learning. When we encounter a difficult problem or a new concept that seems beyond our grasp, instead of retreating or becoming discouraged, we lean in. We see these moments as chances to stretch our mental muscles and expand our capabilities. Consider for a moment how this shift in perspective might change your approach to critical thinking. Instead of avoiding complex issues out of fear of failure, you might find yourself eagerly engaging with them, knowing that each attempt, successful or not, is a step towards greater mental acuity. The frustration of not immediately understanding a concept transforms from a discouraging setback into an exciting puzzle to be solved. But how do we begin to cultivate this mindset? The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to your internal dialogue when faced with intellectual challenges. Do you hear yourself saying things like, "I'm just not good at this kind of thinking," or "this is too complicated for me"? These are hallmarks of a fixed mindset. Recognizing these thoughts is the first step in changing them. Next, practice reframing these thoughts. Instead of "I can't solve this problem," try "I can't solve this problem yet." This simple addition of "yet" opens up the possibility of future success and acknowledges that your current inability is temporary. It's a small change in language that represents a significant shift in attitude. As you progress through this book, you'll encounter various critical thinking strategies and techniques. Approach each of these with the mindset that you can improve. Even if a particular method feels awkward or ineffective at first, remind yourself that mastery comes with practice. Your brain is literally rewiring itself with each attempt, forming new neural pathways that will make critical thinking more natural and effective over time. One of the most powerful aspects of adopting a growth mindset is its impact on how we handle setbacks. In the realm of critical thinking, mistakes and wrong conclusions are inevitable. With a fixed mindset, these failures can be devastating, seen as evidence of our intellectual limitations. But with a growth mindset, they become valuable learning opportunities. Each error is a chance to refine our thinking, to identify weak points in our reasoning, and to emerge stronger and more capable. Embracing challenges is another crucial aspect of the growth mindset. As you work through the concepts in this book, you'll likely encounter ideas or exercises that push you out of your comfort zone. Instead of shying away from these, lean into them. Remember, it's in these moments of struggle that the most significant growth occurs. Your brain, like a muscle, grows stronger when it's pushed to its limits. Persistence is key in this journey. Critical thinking skills don't develop overnight. There will be times when progress seems slow or when you feel like you're not improving. This is where the growth mindset truly shines. By maintaining the belief that you can and will improve with continued effort, you'll be able to push through these plateaus. Each time you persist in the face of difficulty, you're not just working on the immediate problem at hand. You're strengthening your overall capacity for critical thought. As you cultivate this mindset, you'll likely notice changes extending beyond your critical thinking abilities. The growth mindset has a way of permeating other aspects of life. You might find yourself more open to feedback, more willing to take on challenges in your personal or professional life, and more resilient in the face of setbacks. This is because the principles of growth mindset, embracing challenges, persisting through obstacles, and viewing effort as the path to mastery, are universally applicable. By the time you finish this book for the first time, you should have a solid understanding of growth mindset principles and how they apply to critical thinking. You'll begin to catch yourself when you fall into fixed mindset patterns and have the tools to redirect your thoughts. More importantly, you'll have started to apply this mindset to the critical thinking challenges presented in the following chapters. But this is just the beginning. The real power of the growth mindset reveals itself over time. As you continue to practice and apply these principles, you'll likely notice an increased resilience when facing intellectual challenges. Problems that once seemed insurmountable will become intriguing puzzles to solve. You'll find yourself more willing to engage with complex ideas and more capable of navigating through them. Your critical thinking skills will show continuous improvement. This isn't just about accumulating knowledge, although that will happen too. It's about fundamentally changing how you approach thinking itself. You'll become more adept at analyzing information, spotting logical fallacies, and constructing sound arguments. The strategies and techniques introduced in later chapters will become second nature, integrated seamlessly into your thought processes. The journey of developing critical thinking habits is ongoing, and the growth mindset is the engine that drives this continuous improvement. It transforms the process from a finite task into an exciting, lifelong adventure of intellectual growth. As we conclude this chapter, it's important to understand why establishing a growth mindset is the crucial first step in developing critical thinking habits. This mindset shift lays the foundation for everything that follows. Without it, the techniques and strategies in the subsequent chapters might be applied half-heartedly or abandoned at the first sign of difficulty. With a growth mindset firmly in place, however, each new concept becomes an opportunity for growth, each challenge a chance to expand your capabilities. The sequence of this book is designed to build on this foundation, gradually introducing more complex critical thinking skills. By starting with the mindset shift, we ensure that you approach each new idea with openness and determination. This sequencing encourages the gradual development and reinforcement of skills, allowing you to build confidence and competence step by step. As you turn the page to the next chapter, remember that you're not just learning about critical thinking, you're embarking on a journey to reshape how you think about thinking itself. The path ahead is filled with fascinating discoveries and challenges that will push you to grow in ways you might not yet imagine. Are you ready to observe the world around you with new eyes, to see beyond the surface and uncover hidden truths? Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2. Observe closely. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to notice things that others miss entirely? How do great detectives, scientists, or artists perceive details that elude the rest of us? The answer lies not in some innate, superhuman ability, but in a skill that can be cultivated and refined, the art of close observation. As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore how developing a keen eye for detail can dramatically enhance your critical thinking abilities. But what exactly does it mean to observe closely? It's more than just looking. It's about truly seeing, hearing, and experiencing the world around you with heightened awareness. Think about the last time you walked down a familiar street. How much of it did you really notice? The cracks in the sidewalk, the architectural details of the buildings, the subtle changes in the landscape? Chances are, unless you were actively paying attention, much of it passed by in a blur of familiarity. This tendency to overlook details is a natural part of how our brains process information. We're bombarded with sensory input every moment, and our minds have evolved to filter out what it deems unnecessary. While this is efficient for day-to-day functioning, it can be a significant hindrance when it comes to critical thinking. Observation is the foundation upon which all critical thinking is built. It's the first step in gathering accurate information about any situation, problem, or idea. Without careful observation, our subsequent analysis and conclusions are built on shaky ground. By honing our observational skills, we enhance our ability to perceive and understand complex situations, laying a solid foundation for sharper thinking. But observation isn't just about visual details. It encompasses all our senses and extends to abstract concepts as well. It's about being fully present and attentive to the world around us, whether we're examining a physical object, listening to a lecture, or considering an idea. The power of perception lies in its ability to shape our understanding of reality. Two people can look at the same situation and come away with entirely different interpretations based on what they observed. This is where the concept of attentional focus comes into play. Attentional focus is the cognitive process that allows us to concentrate on specific aspects of our environment while ignoring others. It's like a spotlight that illuminates certain areas while leaving others in darkness. By understanding and controlling this focus, we can train our minds to notice details that might otherwise slip by unnoticed. Imagine you're in a crowded room. At first, the noise might seem like an indistinguishable buzz, but if you focus your attention, you can pick out individual conversations, the clinking of glasses, or the hum of the air conditioning. This same principle applies to visual observation and abstract thinking as well. Training the mind to notice details is a skill that improves with practice. It involves consciously directing your attention and resisting the brain's natural tendency to gloss over familiar or seemingly unimportant information. As you develop this skill, you'll find that a wealth of previously unnoticed details begins to reveal itself in every aspect of your life. So, how can we enhance our observational skills? There are several techniques we can employ to sharpen our perceptual abilities. One powerful method is active listening. This involves not just hearing words, but fully engaging with the speaker, noting their tone, body language, and the context of their message. It's about listening with the intent to understand, not just to respond. Visual scanning methods can also significantly improve our observational skills. This involves systematically examining a scene or object, section by section, rather than relying on a quick overall impression. Artists often use this technique when drawing from life, but it's equally valuable in any situation where detailed observation is crucial. As we practice these techniques, we begin to move from mere observation to genuine insight. This is where the real power of close observation in critical thinking becomes apparent. By connecting our observations, we can start to form hypotheses about the world around us. For instance, you might notice that a colleague's normally neat desk is in disarray. They're speaking more rapidly than usual, and they keep checking their watch. Connecting these observations might lead you to hypothesize that they're under unusual stress or time pressure. This insight, derived from careful observation, can inform your interactions and decision-making. However, it's crucial to avoid jumping to premature conclusions based on limited observations. The goal is to gather as much information as possible before forming judgments. This is where the discipline of critical thinking comes into play, tempering our natural tendency to make quick assumptions. To truly develop the habit of close observation, it's essential to incorporate practical exercises into your daily routine. One effective method is to take mindfulness walks. During these walks, focus intently on your surroundings, using all your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, and feel? Try to notice details you've never observed before, even in familiar environments. Another valuable tool is keeping an observation journal. Regularly write down detailed descriptions of objects, scenes, or experiences. Challenge yourself to be as specific and nuanced as possible. Over time, you'll likely notice an improvement in your ability to perceive and recall details. As you practice these techniques, you'll begin to see improvements in your observational skills. At first, you might simply notice an increased attention to detail in your everyday life. You might find yourself picking up on subtle cues in conversations or noticing interesting features in your environment that you previously overlooked. As your skills improve, you'll likely develop an enhanced ability to draw insights from your observations. You'll start to see connections between seemingly unrelated details, leading to more nuanced understanding of complex situations. This is where observation begins to fuel truly sharp thinking. With continued practice and dedication, you can achieve a level of mastery in perceiving and interpreting complex information. At this level, close observation becomes second nature. You'll find yourself automatically noticing and processing details that others miss, giving you a significant advantage in problem-solving, decision-making, and critical analysis. Of course, developing this skill isn't without its challenges. One common pitfall is overlooking important details due to distractions. In our modern world, with its constant barrage of information and stimuli, it can be difficult to maintain focused attention. The key to overcoming this is to practice focused observation techniques regularly. Make it a habit to periodically tune out distractions and engage in deliberate, mindful observation. Remember, the goal isn't to notice every single detail all the time. That would be overwhelming and impractical. Instead, it's about developing the ability to focus your attention deliberately and effectively when needed. It's about training your mind to be a powerful tool for gathering and processing information. As we conclude this chapter, consider how this newfound skill of close observation might change your perspective. How might it enhance your ability to understand complex situations, to solve problems, or to appreciate the world around you? The power of perception is vast, and by honing this skill, you're equipping yourself with a fundamental tool for sharper thinking. But observation is just the beginning. As you move forward, you'll discover how this foundational skill interplays with other critical thinking techniques. What happens when we combine keen observation with the art of asking probing questions? How might this change the way we approach problems and seek solutions? As we delve into the next chapter, prepare to explore the transformative power of curiosity and inquiry in shaping our understanding of the world. Chapter 3, Ask Why. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have an uncanny ability to get to the heart of any matter? They possess a certain knack for peeling back layers of complexity, revealing truths that others miss. What's their secret? It's not some innate talent or supernatural insight. Rather, it's a skill that anyone can develop, a skill that begins with 3 simple letters: why. As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore the transformative power of asking questions. But not just any questions. We're diving into the art of asking the right questions, at the right time, in the right way. This isn't about idle curiosity or playing 20 questions. It's about cultivating a mindset that probes deeper, challenges assumptions, and uncovers hidden truths. Think about the last time you accepted something at face value. Perhaps it was a news headline, a colleague's explanation, or even your own long-held belief. Did you pause to question it? Did you dig deeper to understand the underlying reasons or motivations? If not, you're not alone. Our brains are wired for efficiency, often accepting surface-level explanations to conserve mental energy. But in doing so, we miss out on deeper understanding and potentially crucial insights. This is where the power of why comes into play. By consistently asking this simple yet profound question, we open doors to deeper analysis and understanding. It's a tool that encourages us to look beyond the obvious, to challenge our assumptions, and to seek out root causes rather than settling for superficial explanations. But why is this important for thinking sharp? The answer lies in the nature of critical thinking itself. At its core, critical thinking is about analysis, evaluation, and synthesis of information. It's about going beyond mere acceptance of facts and delving into their meanings, implications, and interconnections. By cultivating the habit of asking why, we're training our minds to engage more deeply with information, to seek out connections and underlying principles that might otherwise remain hidden. Moreover, this questioning mindset acts as a safeguard against the acceptance of superficial answers. In a world inundated with information, much of it oversimplified or even misleading, the ability to probe deeper is more crucial than ever. It allows us to distinguish between genuine understanding and mere familiarity, between substantive knowledge and surface-level trivia. This approach to questioning and analysis isn't new. In fact, it has ancient roots in what's known as the Socratic method. Named after the Greek philosopher Socrates, this method involves asking probing questions to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate ideas. Socrates believed that the path to true knowledge lay not in accepting received wisdom, but in questioning it rigorously. The principles of the Socratic method are deceptively simple. It begins with the assumption that we don't know everything, that our understanding is always incomplete and potentially flawed. From this starting point of humility, we engage in a process of systematic questioning. Each question aims to clarify concepts, challenge assumptions, and explore implications. While the Socratic method originated in ancient philosophical debates, its applications in modern critical thinking are vast. In education, it's used to encourage students to think more deeply about subjects rather than simply memorizing facts. In business, it's applied in problem-solving sessions to uncover root causes of issues. In personal development, it can be a powerful tool for self-reflection and growth. But how do we develop this questioning mindset in our daily lives? It starts with recognizing that there are different types of probing questions, each serving a different purpose. Some questions seek clarification. What exactly do you mean by that? Others challenge assumptions. Is that always the case? Still others probe reasons and evidence. What makes you think that? The key is to move beyond simple yes or no questions to those that encourage deeper reflection and analysis. Instead of asking, "Is this a good idea?" we might ask, "What criteria are we using to evaluate this idea?" Instead of, "Do you agree?" we might ask, "What are the potential implications of this perspective?" Of course, timing and context are crucial when it comes to questioning. There's an art to knowing when to probe deeper and when to step back. In some situations, rapid decision-making is necessary, and there isn't time for deep analysis. In others, persistent questioning can be perceived as confrontational or disruptive. The skill lies in recognizing the appropriate moments for deeper inquiry and framing questions in a way that encourages open dialogue rather than defensiveness. One powerful technique for uncovering root causes is known as the 5 whys. This method involves asking why repeatedly, typically 5 times, to move beyond surface-level explanations and get to the core of an issue. Each answer forms the basis for the next question, creating a chain of inquiry that leads to deeper understanding. For example, let's say we're trying to understand a complex problem. We start by asking why it's occurring. After getting an answer, we ask why that's the case. We continue this process, each time digging a layer deeper until we've uncovered the root cause. This technique can be surprisingly effective in moving beyond surface-level understanding and revealing underlying factors that might not be immediately apparent. To truly internalize this questioning mindset, it's essential to practice regularly. One practical exercise is to challenge yourself to ask why about common assumptions or everyday occurrences. Why do we follow certain social norms? Why are certain practices standard in your industry? By questioning things we often take for granted, we can uncover insights and potentially identify areas for improvement or innovation. Another valuable exercise is to engage in group discussions using Socratic questioning. This can be done formally in a study group or informally with friends or colleagues. Take turns presenting ideas or opinions, with others in the group asking probing questions to explore the topic more deeply. This not only helps develop questioning skills, but also exposes us to different perspectives and ways of thinking. As you develop this habit of questioning, you'll likely notice several outcomes. At a basic level, you'll find yourself better able to ask relevant, insightful questions. This alone can significantly enhance your ability to gather information and understand complex situations. With continued practice, you'll see an enhancement in your overall analytical skills. You'll become more adept at breaking down complex issues, identifying underlying factors, and synthesizing information from various sources. This heightened analytical ability can be applied across various aspects of life, from professional problem-solving to personal decision-making. At its highest level, this questioning mindset can lead to a mastery in uncovering deeper truths. You'll develop an almost intuitive ability to cut through surface-level explanations and get to the heart of matters. This doesn't mean you'll always have all the answers, but you'll have the tools to pursue deeper understanding consistently. Of course, developing this skill isn't without its challenges. One common pitfall is the tendency to ask irrelevant or superficial questions. It's easy to fall into the trap of questioning for the sake of questioning without really advancing understanding. The key to avoiding this is to always focus on the context and relevance of your questions. Ask yourself, what am I trying to understand? How does this question help me get there? Another potential issue is that persistent questioning can sometimes be perceived as challenging or confrontational, especially in certain cultural or professional contexts. It's important to be sensitive to these dynamics and to frame your questions in a way that's perceived as constructive rather than combative. The goal is to foster open dialogue and deeper understanding, not to put others on the defensive. As we conclude this chapter, consider how this habit of asking why might transform your approach to thinking and problem solving. How might it change your interactions with others, your understanding of complex issues, or even your perception of the world around you? The power of questioning is vast, and by honing this skill, you're equipping yourself with a fundamental tool for sharper, more insightful thinking. But questioning is just one piece of the puzzle. As we move forward, we'll explore how this inquisitive mindset interplays with other critical thinking skills. What happens when we combine probing questions with keen observation? How might this change the way we perceive patterns and connections in the world around us? As we delve into the next chapter, prepare to uncover the hidden structures that shape our understanding and decision-making processes. Chapter 4. Analyze patterns. Have you ever marveled at how some individuals seem to possess an almost supernatural ability to predict trends or solve complex problems? It's as if they can see hidden connections that elude the rest of us, allowing them to navigate the complexities of our world with remarkable ease. What if I told you that this ability isn't some innate gift, but a skill that can be developed and honed? As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore a fundamental aspect of human cognition that, when mastered, can dramatically enhance your critical thinking abilities. It's a skill that lies at the intersection of observation, analysis, and prediction, a skill that allows us to make sense of the vast sea of information that surrounds us every day. Think about the last time you encountered a complex problem or a large set of data. Did you feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information? Did you struggle to see how different pieces fit together? If so, you're not alone. Our brains are constantly bombarded with information, and without the right tools, it can be challenging to make sense of it all. This is where the power of pattern analysis comes into play. At its core, pattern recognition is about identifying regularities, trends, or relationships within seemingly chaotic or unrelated information. It's a fundamental aspect of how our brains process and understand the world around us. By developing this skill, we can enhance our ability to predict outcomes, make connections, and solve complex problems. But why is this so important for thinking sharp? The answer lies in the nature of our increasingly complex and data-driven world. We're constantly faced with situations that require us to process large amounts of information, identify trends, and make predictions. Whether it's in business, science, or our personal lives, the ability to recognize and analyze patterns gives us a significant advantage. Moreover, pattern analysis enhances our overall analytical and problem-solving skills. It trains our minds to look beyond surface-level information and seek out underlying structures and relationships. This deeper level of analysis often leads to more innovative solutions and more accurate predictions. To truly understand the power of pattern recognition, we need to delve into its cognitive basis. Our brains are naturally wired to seek out patterns. It's a fundamental survival mechanism that has evolved over millions of years. When we encounter new information, our brains automatically try to fit it into existing patterns or create new ones. This allows us to process and understand information more efficiently. However, not all patterns are created equal. Some are obvious and easily recognizable, while others are subtle and require more careful analysis to detect. Understanding the different types of patterns in information is crucial for developing our analytical skills. There are several types of patterns we might encounter. Temporal patterns involve sequences or trends over time. Spatial patterns relate to the arrangement of objects or data points in physical or conceptual space. Logical patterns involve relationships between ideas or concepts. By learning to recognize these different types of patterns, we can develop a more nuanced understanding of the information we encounter. But how do we go about identifying and analyzing these patterns? There are several techniques we can employ to enhance our pattern recognition skills. One powerful approach is through data visualization methods. By representing data visually, through graphs, charts, or other visual aids, we can often spot patterns that might not be apparent in raw data. Another valuable technique is trend identification. This involves looking for consistent changes or movements within data over time. By identifying trends, we can often make predictions about future outcomes or understand underlying factors driving changes. As we develop our pattern recognition skills, we begin to move from simply identifying patterns to using them for prediction and insight. This is where the real power of pattern analysis in critical thinking becomes apparent. Through inferential thinking, we can use observed patterns to make educated guesses about future events or unseen relationships. However, it's crucial to approach this process with caution. One common pitfall in pattern analysis is overgeneralization, assuming that a pattern observed in one context will necessarily hold true in all situations. Remember, correlation doesn't always imply causation, and patterns can sometimes be coincidental rather than meaningful. To truly develop the habit of pattern analysis, it's essential to incorporate practical exercises into your routine. One effective method is to regularly analyze data sets for hidden patterns. This could involve examining financial data, scientific results, or even patterns in your daily life. Challenge yourself to look beyond the obvious and seek out subtle relationships or trends. Another valuable exercise is creating mind maps to visualize connections. Start with a central idea or problem, then branch out to related concepts or factors. As you build your mind map, look for recurring themes, unexpected connections, or potential causal relationships. This visual approach can often reveal patterns that might not be apparent through linear thinking. As you practice these techniques, you'll likely see a progression in your pattern recognition abilities. At first, you might simply become more adept at identifying simple patterns in data or situations. This alone can be valuable, allowing you to spot trends or relationships that you might have previously overlooked. With continued practice, you'll likely develop a skill in predicting outcomes based on observed patterns. This predictive ability can be incredibly valuable in decision-making, problem-solving, and strategic planning. You'll find yourself able to anticipate potential outcomes or challenges based on subtle cues or trends. At the highest level of mastery, you'll develop the ability to derive deep insights from complex data. This involves not just recognizing patterns, but understanding their implications, potential causes, and broader context. At this level, pattern analysis becomes a powerful tool for innovation and breakthrough thinking. Of course, developing this skill isn't without its challenges. One significant pitfall is the risk of misinterpreting patterns due to bias. Our brains are naturally inclined to seek out patterns that confirm our existing beliefs or expectations. This can lead us to see meaningful patterns where none actually exist, or to overlook patterns that contradict our preconceptions. To counter this, it's crucial to approach pattern analysis with an open mind and to seek out diverse data sources and perspectives. Challenge your initial interpretations by looking for alternative explanations or contradictory evidence. Remember, the goal is not to find patterns that confirm what we already believe, but to uncover genuine insights that expand our understanding. Another potential issue is becoming overly reliant on past patterns to predict future outcomes. While historical patterns can be informative, it's important to remember that circumstances change and new factors can disrupt established trends. Always consider the context and potential for change when using patterns for prediction. As we conclude this chapter, consider how this newfound skill of pattern analysis might change your approach to problem-solving and decision-making. How might it enhance your ability to understand complex situations, to anticipate challenges, or to identify opportunities that others might miss? The power of pattern recognition is vast, and by honing this skill, you're equipping yourself with a fundamental tool for sharper, more insightful thinking. But pattern analysis is just one piece of the puzzle. As you move forward, you'll discover how this analytical skill interplays with other critical thinking techniques. What happens when we combine pattern recognition with the ability to challenge our own assumptions? How might this change the way we approach problems and seek solutions? As we delve into the next chapter, prepare to confront the hidden forces that shape our thinking, forces that, once recognized, can be harnessed to dramatically enhance our critical thinking abilities. Chapter 5. Challenge Bias. Have you ever wondered why two equally intelligent people can look at the same information and come to wildly different conclusions? Or why you sometimes make decisions that, in hindsight, seem obviously flawed? The answer lies not in a lack of intelligence or information, but in a subtle, pervasive force that shapes our thinking in ways we often fail to recognize. As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore a critical aspect of thinking that can make or break our ability to reason clearly and make sound decisions. It's an element of our cognitive processes that operates largely beneath our conscious awareness, influencing our perceptions, judgments, and choices in profound ways. Think about the last time you made an important decision. Did you consider all the evidence objectively? Or did you find yourself drawn to information that supported your existing beliefs while dismissing contradictory evidence? If you're like most people, you probably experienced the latter to some degree. This is just one example of how our minds can lead us astray, even when we believe we're thinking rationally. The human brain is an incredible organ capable of processing vast amounts of information and making complex decisions in fractions of a second. But this remarkable efficiency comes at a cost. To cope with the overwhelming amount of information we encounter daily, our brains have evolved to take mental shortcuts. These shortcuts, or heuristics, allow us to make quick judgments and decisions without having to analyze every piece of information in depth. While these mental shortcuts are often useful, they can also lead us astray. They can cause us to overlook important information, jump to conclusions, or make decisions based on flawed reasoning. These systematic errors in thinking are what psychologists call cognitive biases. Understanding and challenging these biases is crucial for sharp thinking. Why? Because biases can significantly distort our perception and judgment. They can lead us to make poor decisions, misinterpret information, and draw incorrect conclusions. By learning to recognize and counteract these biases, we can achieve a more objective and balanced approach to critical thinking. But what exactly are these cognitive biases? They come in many forms, each affecting our thinking in different ways. Confirmation bias, for instance, is our tendency to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. The availability heuristic causes us to overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily remembered or imagined. The anchoring bias leads us to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we encounter when making decisions. These are just a few examples of the many biases that can influence our thinking. Each of these biases can have a significant impact on our decision-making processes. They can lead us to make poor financial choices, misjudge risks, or form inaccurate impressions of people and situations. In some cases, the consequences of biased thinking can be severe, affecting not just individual decisions, but entire organizations or societies. So how do we begin to tackle these pervasive influences on our thinking? The first step is developing self-awareness. We need to learn to recognize our own biases, which is often easier said than done. Our biases are so ingrained in our thinking patterns that they can be difficult to spot without conscious effort. One effective technique for bias self-assessment is to regularly question your own assumptions and beliefs. When you find yourself forming a strong opinion or making a decision, pause and ask yourself, what evidence am I basing this on? Am I considering all sides of the issue or just the ones that align with my existing beliefs? Are there alternative explanations or perspectives I haven't considered? Another powerful tool for developing self-awareness is seeking feedback from others. Often, our biases are more apparent to those around us than they are to ourselves. By actively seeking out diverse perspectives and being open to constructive criticism, we can gain valuable insights into our own thought processes and potential blind spots. Once we've developed a greater awareness of our biases, the next step is learning strategies to overcome them. One of the most effective approaches is to actively seek out diverse perspectives. This means deliberately exposing ourselves to viewpoints and information that challenge our existing beliefs. It can be uncomfortable at first, but it's a crucial step in broadening our understanding and reducing the impact of biases on our thinking. Implementing structured decision processes can also help mitigate the effects of bias. This might involve using decision matrices to evaluate options objectively, or employing techniques like the pre-mortem, where you imagine a decision has failed and work backward to identify potential pitfalls. By following a systematic approach, we can reduce the influence of emotional or intuitive biases on our decision-making. To truly internalize these concepts and develop the habit of challenging bias, it's essential to engage in regular practice. One effective exercise is to keep a bias journal. Each day, try to identify at least one instance where you might have been influenced by a cognitive bias. Reflect on what the bias was, how it affected your thinking, and how you might approach similar situations differently in the future. Another valuable practice is engaging in structured debates or discussions on topics where you have strong opinions. The key here is to challenge yourself to argue for the opposite viewpoint. This exercise can be eye-opening, helping you recognize the strengths in opposing arguments and the potential weaknesses in your own position. As you develop your skills in challenging bias, you'll likely notice several outcomes. At a basic level, you'll become more aware of your own biases. This awareness alone can be powerful, allowing you to pause and reconsider your thought processes in critical moments. With continued practice, you'll develop the ability to actively counteract biases in your decision-making. You'll find yourself naturally considering alternative viewpoints, seeking out diverse information, and approaching problems with a more balanced perspective. At the highest level of mastery, you may achieve a state of near-constant objectivity. This doesn't mean you'll be free from biases entirely. That's likely impossible for any human. But you'll have developed such a keen awareness and such effective strategies for countering bias that your thinking will be consistently more balanced and objective than most. Of course, the journey to overcome bias is not without its challenges. One significant pitfall is the tendency to ignore our biases due to overconfidence. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we're immune to bias, especially as we become more aware of these cognitive pitfalls. This overconfidence can actually make us more susceptible to biased thinking as we let our guard down. The solution to this problem is to regularly seek feedback and diverse viewpoints, even or especially when we feel most confident in our judgments. By maintaining a stance of intellectual humility and openness to new information, we can continue to refine our thinking and guard against the creep of overconfidence. Another challenge is the sheer pervasiveness of biases in our thinking. They're not just occasional intruders in our cognitive processes, they're fundamental to how our brains work. This means that challenging bias isn't a one-time task, but an ongoing process of self-reflection and adjustment. As we conclude this chapter, consider how this newfound awareness of cognitive biases might change your approach to thinking and decision-making. How might it affect the way you consume information, form opinions, or interact with others who hold different views? The ability to recognize and challenge bias is a powerful tool, one that can dramatically enhance the clarity and effectiveness of your thinking. But challenging bias is just one piece of the puzzle in developing sharp, critical thinking skills. As you move forward, you'll discover how this self-awareness interplays with other cognitive strategies. What happens when we combine our ability to challenge bias with techniques for expanding our mental horizons? How might this change the way we approach problems and generate solutions? As we delve into the next chapter, prepare to stretch your mind in new directions, exploring the power of cognitive flexibility in enhancing your critical thinking abilities. Chapter 6. Consider alternatives. Have you ever found yourself stuck on a problem, feeling like you've hit a dead end? Or perhaps you've made a decision, only to later discover a much better option you hadn't even considered? These situations are all too common, and they point to a crucial aspect of critical thinking that many of us overlook. As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore a powerful cognitive tool that can dramatically enhance your problem-solving abilities and decision-making skills. It's a technique that can help you break free from mental ruts, discover innovative solutions, and make more informed choices. But more than that, it's a mindset that can transform the way you approach challenges in every aspect of your life. Think about the last time you faced a complex problem. How did you approach it? Did you immediately latch on to the first solution that came to mind, or did you take the time to explore different possibilities? If you're like most people, you probably lean towards the former. Our brains are wired for efficiency, often pushing us towards quick, familiar solutions. But what if I told you that this tendency, while sometimes useful, could also be limiting your potential for truly effective and innovative thinking? The ability to consider alternatives is more than just a useful skill. It's a fundamental aspect of sharp thinking. Why? Because it encourages flexibility and creativity in problem solving. When we train ourselves to look beyond the obvious or immediate solutions, we open up a world of possibilities. We become more adaptable, more innovative, and more capable of handling complex challenges. Moreover, considering alternatives reduces the risk of narrow-mindedness. It's all too easy to fall into the trap of tunnel vision, focusing so intently on one approach that we become blind to other, potentially better options. By cultivating the habit of exploring multiple possibilities, we protect ourselves against this cognitive pitfall. But how do we develop this ability? The key lies in understanding and applying the principles of divergent thinking. Unlike convergent thinking, which focuses on narrowing down options to arrive at a single correct answer, divergent thinking is about generating a wide range of possible solutions or ideas. It's the cognitive equivalent of casting a wide net, allowing us to capture a diverse array of possibilities before honing in on the best option. The benefits of this approach are numerous. By exploring multiple possibilities, we increase our chances of finding truly innovative solutions. We also gain a more comprehensive understanding of the problem at hand, as each alternative we consider sheds new light on different aspects of the issue. This broader perspective can lead to more nuanced, effective decision-making. So how do we put divergent thinking into practice? There are several techniques we can employ to generate alternatives. One of the most well-known is brainstorming. In its simplest form, brainstorming involves generating as many ideas as possible without judgment or criticism. The key is to suspend evaluation initially, allowing even seemingly outlandish ideas to be voiced. Often, it's these unconventional ideas that can lead to breakthrough solutions. Another powerful technique is lateral thinking, a term coined by Edward de Bono. Lateral thinking involves approaching problems from unexpected angles, often by challenging assumptions or introducing random elements into the thought process. For example, you might ask, how would we solve this problem if we had unlimited resources? Or, what would a solution look like if we had to solve this problem without using any technology? These techniques can be incredibly effective, but they're just the beginning. The real power comes from making the consideration of alternatives a habitual part of your thinking process. This means training yourself to automatically ask, what other possibilities are there, whenever you're faced with a problem or decision? Of course, generating alternatives is only half the battle. Once you've expanded your range of options, you need to be able to evaluate and prioritize them effectively. This is where criteria-based assessment comes into play. By establishing clear criteria for what constitutes a good solution, you can systematically evaluate each alternative, weighing its strengths and weaknesses. It's important to strike a balance between creativity and practicality in this process. While it's valuable to consider unconventional ideas, you also need to be able to assess their feasibility and potential impact. This doesn't mean immediately dismissing ideas that seem impractical at first glance. Sometimes, the most innovative solutions initially appear unrealistic. Instead, it means carefully considering how each alternative might be implemented and what its consequences might be. To truly develop the habit of considering alternatives, it's essential to engage in regular practice. One effective exercise is to conduct group brainstorming sessions. Gather a diverse group of people and present them with a problem or challenge. Encourage everyone to contribute ideas freely without criticism or evaluation. You'll likely be surprised by the range and creativity of the solutions that emerge. Another valuable practice is scenario analysis. When faced with a decision, try to imagine multiple possible futures based on different choices. What might the consequences be in each scenario? How might different factors interact? This exercise not only helps you consider a wider range of possibilities, but also improves your ability to anticipate potential outcomes. As you develop your skills in considering alternatives, you'll likely notice several outcomes. At a basic level, you'll find yourself able to generate multiple solutions to problems more easily. This alone can be incredibly valuable, giving you more options to choose from and reducing the likelihood of overlooking good solutions. With continued practice, you'll develop a skill in evaluating diverse options. You'll become more adept at weighing the pros and cons of different alternatives, considering their potential impacts from multiple angles. This enhanced evaluative ability can lead to more nuanced, effective decision-making. At the highest level of mastery, you may achieve a state where you're consistently able to select optimal solutions from a wide range of possibilities. This doesn't mean you'll always make perfect decisions. That's likely impossible in our complex, unpredictable world. But you'll have developed such a keen ability to generate and evaluate alternatives that your choices will be consistently more informed and effective than most. Of course, the journey to mastering the art of considering alternatives is not without its challenges. One significant pitfall is the tendency to overlook viable alternatives due to bias. Even when we think we're being open-minded, our preconceptions and preferences can subtly influence which options we consider seriously. This is where the skills we developed in the previous chapter on challenging bias become crucial. To counter this tendency, it's helpful to use structured frameworks for evaluation. These might include decision matrices, where you systematically rate each alternative against your criteria, or techniques like the 6 thinking hats method, which encourages looking at problems from multiple perspectives. By using these structured approaches, you can help ensure that you're giving fair consideration to all alternatives, not just the ones that immediately appeal to you. Another challenge is the potential for decision paralysis. When faced with too many options, it's easy to become overwhelmed, leading to indecision or a retreat to familiar, safe choices. The key here is to remember that the goal isn't to consider every possible alternative. That would be impossible. Instead, aim to generate a manageable number of diverse, high-quality options. Quality is more important than quantity. As we conclude this chapter, consider how this practice of considering alternatives might change your approach to problem-solving and decision-making. How might it affect the way you tackle challenges at work, make personal decisions, or even engage in discussions with others? The ability to generate and evaluate multiple possibilities is a powerful tool, one that can dramatically enhance your critical thinking skills and lead to more innovative, effective solutions. But considering alternatives is just one piece of the puzzle in developing sharp critical thinking skills. As you move forward, you'll discover how this expansive thinking interplays with other cognitive strategies. What happens when we combine our ability to generate alternatives with deep, focused reflection? How might this change the way we learn from our experiences and refine our decision-making processes? As we delve into the next chapter, prepare to explore the transformative power of introspection in enhancing your critical thinking abilities. Chapter 7. Reflect deeply. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to learn and grow from their experiences, while others appear to repeat the same mistakes over and over? Or why certain individuals consistently make better decisions, even in complex situations? The answer lies not in innate talent or luck, but in a powerful cognitive skill that's often overlooked in our fast-paced world. As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore a practice that has the potential to dramatically enhance your critical thinking abilities and decision-making skills. It's a technique that can help you uncover hidden patterns in your thinking, learn from your experiences, and continuously refine your cognitive processes. But more than that, it's a pathway to deeper self-awareness and personal growth. Think about the last significant decision you made. After you made it, did you take the time to think about why you made that choice? Did you consider what led to that decision, what the outcomes were, and what you might do differently next time? If you're like most people, you probably moved on to the next task without much further thought. But what if I told you that this moment of pause and reflection could be the key to unlocking your full potential as a thinker and decision maker? The practice we're exploring in this chapter is more than just a casual look back at past events. It's a structured, intentional process of examining our thoughts, actions, and their consequences. This practice, known as deep reflection or reflective practice, is a cornerstone of continuous learning and improvement. But why is reflection so important for sharp thinking? The answer lies in its power to foster self-awareness and growth. When we take the time to reflect deeply on our experiences, we gain insights into our thought processes, our strengths, and our areas for improvement. We begin to see patterns in our thinking and decision-making that we might otherwise miss. Moreover, reflection enhances our decision-making abilities by allowing us to learn from our experiences. Each decision we make, each problem we solve, is an opportunity for learning. But without reflection, these lessons often go unnoticed and unapplied. By developing the habit of deep reflection, we can extract valuable insights from our experiences and apply them to future situations. The theory behind reflective practice is rooted in the work of educational theorist David Kolb and philosopher Donald Schoen. They proposed that learning is a cyclical process that involves concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. In this model, reflection plays a crucial role in transforming experience into knowledge. There are several models of reflection that we can use to guide our practice. One common approach is the what, so what, now what model. In this framework, we first describe what happened, what, then analyze its significance, so what, and finally consider how we can apply what we've learned, now what. Another useful model is Gibbs' reflective cycle, which guides us through description, feelings, evaluation, analysis, conclusion, and action planning. The benefits of regular self-reflection are numerous. It helps us to identify our strengths and weaknesses, understand our motivations and biases, and recognize patterns in our thinking and behavior. This increased self-awareness can lead to better decision-making, improved problem-solving skills, and greater emotional intelligence. But how do we implement reflective habits in our daily lives? One powerful technique is journaling. By regularly writing down our thoughts, experiences, and reflections, we create a record of our mental processes that we can review and learn from. This doesn't have to be a lengthy process. Even a few minutes of focused writing each day can yield significant benefits. When journaling for reflection, try to go beyond simply recounting events. Ask yourself probing questions. Why did I make that decision? What assumptions was I making? How did my emotions influence my thinking? What could I have done differently? By digging deeper into your thought processes, you'll uncover valuable insights that can inform your future actions. Another effective approach is to engage in structured reflection exercises. These might involve setting aside dedicated time each week to review your experiences, decisions, and their outcomes. You could use a specific reflection model to guide your thinking, or create your own set of questions to prompt deep consideration of your experiences. As you develop the habit of reflection, you'll likely start to notice patterns in your thinking and decision-making. Perhaps you'll realize that you tend to make hasty decisions when under pressure, or that you often overlook certain types of information. Identifying these patterns is crucial because it allows you to consciously address them in future situations. The real power of reflection comes when we apply the insights we've gained to future decisions. This might involve setting specific goals for improvement, developing strategies to overcome identified weaknesses, or consciously applying lessons learned from past experiences to new situations. By doing this consistently, we create a feedback loop of continuous improvement in our thinking and decision-making processes. To truly internalize the practice of deep reflection, it's helpful to engage in regular exercises. One effective approach is daily journaling for self-assessment. Set aside a few minutes each day to write about your experiences, decisions, and thoughts. Over time, you'll build a rich record of your cognitive processes that you can review and learn from. Another valuable practice is participating in reflection circles. These are group sessions where participants share their experiences and reflections, providing and receiving feedback from others. This collective approach to reflection can offer new perspectives and insights that you might not have reached on your own. As you develop your skills in deep reflection, you'll likely notice several outcomes. At a basic level, you'll experience improved self-awareness. You'll have a clearer understanding of your thought processes, your strengths, and your areas for improvement. This alone can be incredibly valuable, allowing you to make more informed decisions and take more effective actions. With continued practice, you'll develop an enhanced ability to learn from past experiences. You'll become more adept at extracting valuable lessons from your successes and failures and applying these lessons to new situations. This accelerated learning process can lead to rapid improvements in your critical thinking and decision-making abilities. At the highest level of mastery, you may achieve a state where you're consistently able to refine your thought processes. You'll have developed such a keen ability to reflect on and learn from your experiences that your thinking becomes increasingly sharp and effective over time. This doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. That's an impossible standard. But it does mean that you'll be able to learn and grow from each experience, continuously improving your cognitive abilities. Of course, the journey to mastering the art of deep reflection is not without its challenges. One significant pitfall is the tendency towards superficial reflection that doesn't yield actionable insights. It's easy to fall into the trap of simply rehashing events without digging deeper into their significance or implications. To counter this tendency, it's helpful to set specific goals for your reflection outcomes. What do you want to learn or understand better? What specific aspects of your thinking or decision-making are you trying to improve? By having clear objectives for your reflection, you can ensure that you're engaging in deep, meaningful analysis rather than surface-level review. Another challenge is finding the time for regular reflection in our busy lives. It's easy to view reflection as a luxury we can't afford when we're juggling multiple responsibilities. However, it's important to remember that reflection isn't separate from our work and life. It's an integral part of how we learn and improve. Even a few minutes of focused reflection each day can yield significant benefits over time. As we conclude this chapter, consider how this practice of deep reflection might change your approach to learning and decision-making. How might it affect the way you process experiences, make choices, or approach challenges? The ability to reflect deeply is a powerful tool, one that can dramatically enhance your critical thinking skills and lead to continuous personal and professional growth. But reflection is just one piece of the puzzle in developing sharp critical thinking skills. As you move forward, you'll discover how this introspective practice interplays with other cognitive strategies. What happens when we combine our ability to reflect deeply with the confidence to act decisively? How might this change the way we approach complex problems and make high-stakes decisions? As we delve into the next chapter, prepare to explore the delicate balance between thought and action and discover how to harness the power of confident decision-making in your critical thinking journey. Chapter 8. Decide confidently. Have you ever found yourself caught in the grip of indecision, weighing options endlessly without reaching a conclusion? Or perhaps you've experienced the opposite, making snap judgments without fully considering the consequences. These scenarios highlight a crucial aspect of critical thinking that many struggle with: the art of decisive action. As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore a skill that can transform your approach to problem-solving and decision-making. It's a capability that bridges the gap between thought and action, allowing you to move forward with purpose and assurance. But more than that, it's a mindset that can empower you to navigate complex situations with clarity and conviction. Think about the last major decision you faced. How did you approach it? Did you find yourself caught in a loop of endless analysis, afraid to commit to a course of action? Or did you perhaps rush to a decision only to regret it later? If either of these scenarios sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many of us struggle to find the right balance between careful consideration and decisive action. The ability to decide confidently is more than just a useful skill. It's a fundamental aspect of effective critical thinking. Why? Because confidence in decision-making often leads to better outcomes. When we trust in our ability to make sound choices, we're more likely to act with conviction and see our decisions through to successful completion. Moreover, confident decision-making reduces the paralysis of indecision and increases our overall effectiveness. In a world that often demands quick thinking and rapid responses, the ability to make timely, well-reasoned decisions is invaluable. It allows us to seize opportunities, respond to challenges, and navigate complex situations with greater ease and success. But how do we develop this ability? The key lies in understanding and applying the principles of decision-making theory. This field of study highlights the delicate balance between analysis and action. On one side, we have the risk of overthinking, what's often called analysis paralysis. This occurs when we become so caught up in gathering information and weighing options that we struggle to actually make a decision. On the other side, we have the danger of impulsive decision-making. This is when we act too quickly, without sufficient thought or consideration. While sometimes necessary in emergencies, habitually making snap decisions can lead to poor outcomes and missed opportunities. The goal, then, is to find the sweet spot between these two extremes. We want to engage in enough analysis to make an informed decision, but not so much that we become paralyzed by indecision. We want to act decisively, but not impulsively. So how do we achieve this balance? One effective approach is to use structured decision-making methods. These provide a framework for organizing our thoughts and systematically evaluating our options. One such tool is the decision matrix. This involves listing our options and the criteria by which we'll judge them, then scoring each option against each criterion. This method can help us objectively compare complex choices and arrive at a well-reasoned decision. Another useful technique is the classic pros and cons analysis. While simple, this method can be surprisingly effective. By forcing us to explicitly consider both the positive and negative aspects of each option, it helps us avoid overlooking important factors and leads to more balanced decision-making. But using these tools is only part of the equation. To truly decide confidently, we need to cultivate trust in our decision-making process. This doesn't mean blindly believing that every decision we make will be perfect. Rather, it means having faith in our ability to make reasoned choices and learn from the outcomes. Building this trust involves recognizing that decision-making is a skill that improves with practice. Each decision we make is an opportunity to learn and refine our process. By reflecting on our decisions, both the successful ones and those that didn't turn out as planned, we can gain valuable insights that inform future choices. It's also important to remember that confident decision-making doesn't mean always being right. It means being willing to commit to a course of action based on the best information available at the time, while remaining open to adjusting our approach as new information comes to light. To truly develop the habit of confident decision-making, it's essential to engage in regular practice. One effective exercise is role-playing decision scenarios. This involves imagining or simulating complex decision situations and working through them as if they were real. By practicing in a low-stakes environment, we can hone our decision-making skills without the pressure of real-world consequences. Another valuable practice is participating in decision-making workshops. These group sessions provide opportunities to collaborate on decision-making exercises, share perspectives, and learn from others' approaches. This collective approach can offer new insights and strategies that you might not have considered on your own. As you develop your skills in confident decision-making, you'll likely notice several outcomes. At a basic level, you'll experience increased confidence in everyday decisions. You'll find yourself less prone to second-guessing and more able to move forward with conviction in your choices. With continued practice, you'll develop the ability to make well-reasoned choices even in complex or high-pressure situations. You'll become more adept at quickly assessing situations, weighing options, and committing to a course of action. This enhanced decision-making ability can lead to improved outcomes in both personal and professional contexts. At the highest level of mastery, you may achieve a state where you're consistently able to balance analysis and action effectively. You'll have developed such a keen ability to gather and process information, weigh options, and act decisively that your decision-making becomes both efficient and highly effective. This doesn't mean you'll never face difficult decisions or occasionally make mistakes. That's part of being human. But it does mean that you'll approach decision-making with a level of skill and confidence that sets you apart. Of course, the journey to mastering confident decision-making is not without its challenges. One significant pitfall is the risk of overconfidence. As we become more comfortable with our decision-making abilities, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing we're infallible. This can lead to rushed decisions or a failure to consider important factors. To counter this tendency, it's crucial to regularly review and adjust our decision-making processes. This might involve periodically reassessing our decision-making methods, seeking feedback from others, or conducting post-decision reviews to learn from both successes and failures. By maintaining a stance of continuous improvement, we can harness the benefits of confidence while guarding against its potential pitfalls. Another challenge is managing the emotional aspects of decision-making. Even with structured methods and practice, decisions often involve uncertainty and risk. Learning to manage the anxiety or stress that can accompany important decisions is a key part of developing confident decision-making skills. As we conclude this chapter, consider how this practice of confident decision-making might change your approach to challenges and opportunities in your life. How might it affect the way you handle complex problems, respond to unexpected situations, or pursue your goals? The ability to decide confidently is a powerful tool, one that can dramatically enhance your effectiveness and success in all areas of life. But confident decision-making is just one piece of the puzzle in developing sharp critical thinking skills. As you move forward, you'll discover how this decisive mindset interplays with other cognitive strategies. What happens when we combine our ability to make confident decisions with a holistic approach to thinking and living? How might this change the way we navigate the complexities of our world and pursue our aspirations? As we delve into the final chapter, prepare to explore how all these critical thinking skills come together to create a lifestyle of sharp, effective thinking that can transform every aspect of your life. Chapter 9. Live critically. As we reach the final chapter of our journey together, it's time to step back and consider the bigger picture. We've explored various strategies and techniques for sharpening our critical thinking skills, from challenging our biases to making confident decisions. But the true power of these skills lies not in their individual application, but in how they come together to transform our entire approach to life. Living critically isn't about constantly analyzing every minute detail of our existence. Rather, it's about adopting a mindset that allows us to navigate the complexities of our world with greater clarity, purpose, and effectiveness. It's about making critical thinking not just something we do, but a fundamental part of who we are. Think about how you approached challenges and decisions before you began this book. Now, imagine a version of yourself who has fully integrated these critical thinking skills into every aspect of life. How would that version of you approach problems? How would they interact with others? How would they pursue their goals and aspirations? The journey we've been on together isn't just about learning new techniques. It's about empowering you to become that version of yourself, someone who can confidently navigate complex situations and make informed decisions in any context. One of the most significant ways this empowerment manifests is in increased confidence when facing complex situations. Where once you might have felt overwhelmed by intricate problems or multifaceted challenges, you now have a toolkit of strategies to approach them systematically. You can observe closely, ask probing questions, analyze patterns, challenge biases, consider alternatives, reflect deeply, and decide confidently. This comprehensive approach allows you to break down even the most daunting situations into manageable components. Moreover, your enhanced ability to make informed decisions will serve you well in all areas of life. Whether you're making career choices, personal decisions, or tackling professional challenges, you now have the skills to gather relevant information, analyze it critically, and arrive at well-reasoned conclusions. This doesn't mean you'll always make perfect decisions. No one can. But it does mean you'll be able to approach decision-making with greater clarity and assurance. But the impact of critical thinking extends beyond just problem-solving and decision-making. It can also profoundly improve your relationships. By applying critical listening skills, really hearing what others are saying, analyzing their perspectives, and asking insightful questions, you can enhance your communication with others. This leads to deeper understanding, fewer misunderstandings, and more meaningful connections. Furthermore, the self-awareness and empathy that come with critical thinking can lead to more understanding and compassionate interactions. By recognizing your own biases and considering alternative perspectives, you become better equipped to understand and appreciate the viewpoints of others, even when they differ from your own. This can lead to better relationships, both personally and professionally. As you continue to integrate critical thinking into your daily life, you'll likely find yourself able to achieve things that once seemed out of reach. Complex problems that might have once paralyzed you with their intricacy now become intriguing puzzles to solve. You'll be able to approach them with a clear mind, breaking them down into manageable components and addressing each aspect systematically. This clarity of thought also translates into leadership abilities. Whether you're leading a team at work, guiding a community project, or simply taking charge of your own life direction, your critical thinking skills will allow you to lead with confidence and insight. You'll be able to analyze situations comprehensively, make well-reasoned decisions, and communicate your vision effectively to others. One of the most exciting aspects of developing critical thinking as a lifestyle is that it becomes easier and more natural over time. As you continue to practice the concepts we've explored in this book, you'll find that critical thinking becomes second nature. What once required conscious effort will become an automatic part of how you process information and approach challenges. This doesn't mean you'll stop learning or improving. On the contrary, as critical thinking becomes ingrained in your cognitive processes, you'll find yourself able to tackle increasingly complex issues with greater ease. You'll achieve more while expending less mental energy on the basics of critical analysis. The result is a virtuous cycle of growth and achievement. As your critical thinking skills improve, you become more effective in your endeavors. This success reinforces the value of critical thinking, motivating you to apply these skills even more consistently. Over time, you'll find yourself achieving more with greater efficiency and effectiveness across all areas of your life. But perhaps the most profound impact of living critically is the sense of clarity and purpose it brings to your life. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, critical thinking provides a framework for making sense of complexity. It allows you to cut through noise and confusion, focusing on what truly matters and making decisions aligned with your values and goals. This clarity extends to your understanding of yourself. Through the self-reflection and bias challenging we've discussed, you'll gain deeper insights into your own thoughts, motivations, and behaviors. This self-awareness is the foundation for personal growth and fulfillment. As we conclude this book, I want to leave you with a vision of what's possible when you fully embrace critical thinking as a way of life. Imagine waking up each day with a clear mind, ready to tackle whatever challenges come your way. You approach problems not with anxiety, but with curiosity and confidence. You interact with others not from a place of judgment or defensiveness, but with openness and understanding. In your professional life, you're known for your insightful contributions and sound decision-making. You're able to see connections and opportunities that others miss, leading to innovative solutions and steady career advancement. In your personal life, your relationships are characterized by deep understanding and meaningful communication. You're not perfect. No one is, but you have the tools to learn and grow from every experience. Setbacks become opportunities for reflection and improvement. Successes are analyzed for lessons that can be applied to future endeavors. Most importantly, you feel a sense of agency in your life. Rather than feeling buffeted by circumstances, you're able to navigate life's complexities with purpose and direction. You're not just reacting to the world around you, you're actively shaping your path through it. This is the power of living critically. It's not just about thinking better, it's about living better. It's about approaching life with clarity, purpose, and effectiveness. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and making a positive impact on the world around you. As you close this book, remember that this is not the end of your journey, but the beginning. The skills and strategies we've explored are tools, and like any tools, they become more effective with use. Continue to practice critical thinking in your daily life. Seek out opportunities to apply these skills. Reflect on your experiences and continue to refine your approach. The path of critical thinking is one of continuous growth and discovery. Each day brings new opportunities to observe, question, analyze, and decide. Embrace these opportunities. Let your curiosity drive you to deeper understanding. Let your critical faculties guide you to better decisions. You have within you the potential for extraordinary growth and achievement. The critical thinking skills you've developed are the key to unlocking that potential. Use them wisely, use them often, and watch as they transform not just how you think, but how you live. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You've taken that step. Now, armed with the power of critical thinking, it's time to stride confidently into the future you've envisioned for yourself. The world is complex, challenging, and full of opportunities. With your sharpened mind and critical approach, you're ready to meet it head-on. Go forth and live critically. Your journey to a sharper, more fulfilling life has only just begun. As you apply these critical thinking skills, you may find yourself facing new challenges, situations where emotions run high and clear thinking seems elusive. How can you maintain your critical faculties when the stakes are at their highest? The answer lies in mastering a crucial skill set. To truly harness the power of critical thinking in every aspect of your life, discover the essential techniques in the audiobook, Stay Calm, Think Smart, The Art of Critical Thinking in Difficult Situations. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.